Right, we're ready for the last race then of SBR Sim Racing BTCC from Goodwood. The last race for this event anyway. And it's the reverse grid, the one that everyone looks forward to, and it's a pink, pretty and pink 1-2 with Lewis and Coleman, and then Andrew, and then John, Brian, Leon and the rest. And then it's the look at the faster guys that we expect to come through, but it's Lewis on pole and who expect to pull away, and if the pretty and pink cars work together, I'm sure they can pull a gap. So watch for the flag, just a telltale sign that we're about to go racing, and there we go, the Union Jack waves and we're away, and it is a great start from Lewis, and Coleman covers into second place, and that keeps him ahead of Andrew. John in fourth, ahead of Brian, Leon coming through, and already Greg and Jeff again is visiting that grass on the outside, and that's allowed. And wow, that's weird. Greg and Sean seem to be slightly inseparable, and they're drifting down the straight, so there's obviously some lag issues here, but Sean around the outside of Ben there, so got a great run down the straight, bit of slipstream. Ben fights back and gets position back, and again this weird contact thing seems to be going on, but we'll try to ignore it if we can. Let's put Ben up to 7th, so he's passed most of the field already, and Lewis already trying to stretch away with his teammate Andrew in third, doing a great job. Brian's off, so what's happened there? We'll try to go back and see what happened there to Brian, but he's been punted out the side. Let's go back and see. And this is what happened. He was with Leon, and Ben's trying down the inside, but Leon's trying to cover that, I think, and just hit at the back, and he's tried to slow down to let Brian through, but everyone else is just punting him at the back, so he's had to continue. Brian's sent off into the gravel. Disappointment for Brian after 2 pretty good races, so that'd be disappointing for his teammate as well with the team's championship, but away we go then. Ben and Sean, who've been side by side for most of the lap, are side by side again, but Ben should be able to cover that into Sean O'Connor, and he does, and him and Greg are still glitching, so they need to get separated, I think, because it's just looking a bit weird. The side by well, that's weird as well, something not right there, and Ash into the barrier, the chicane. I think Andrew was as well, and into the first part of the chicane, so that's put him last from a good start. John meanwhile finds himself in third for Audi, his teammate in fifth, and this weird glitch thing carries on, and somehow it's powering them past everybody on the straight, so I don't understand what's going on with that, but hopefully it'll sort itself out when they get separated. Adam 9th for his teammate in 10th, 11th for Jeff, 12th for Brian who's recovering, 13th for Andrew who hit the barrier, and 14th for Nick, who's obviously had an even more disastrous first lap than the others. Meanwhile, this weird freight train of Sean and Greg comes past John, and looks like Greg will try and get around the outside, but he'll maybe face the same issue as Nathan did in race 1 and get forced out, and he has, and that's forced him down the few positions. Ben will get past, Nathan gets past, maybe even Adam. If Adam gets Adam's dived down the inside, so he should probably be able to complete that move, and doesn't, or at least hasn't yet, but maybe he can get it now. Yes, he does. He forces Greg out a little bit and will take position to the chicane, because there's only one line, you have to sort it out, and oh, Greg's into the flowers, and that's going to put him way down. But we had to switch back and look at this, because there's Sean going past Leon for third, and now can he set off after the pink cars? Ben and Nathan have been knocking each other all the way down the straight, and they've settled their differences, but Ben's through past his teammate, and Nathan's knocked John wide. John onto the grass, back on again, and Ben and Nathan get a little bit personal in this race. They've had a lot of contact, and there's a bit more, and then down the back straight and a bit more again at Ford Water, and that's not the place to have contact, so they need to sort this out and get over it, and they have. And Ben maintains 5th, Nathan's 6th, but Nathan's looking the faster guy at the moment and should be able to get past. Sure, it's a matter of time. Dives down the inside, but no, it's covered again, and well, these guys battling. Ben needs to take points off Nathan to have any chance of the championship, but it just doesn't look like he's got the pace and hasn't all season, so it would be a surprise. Meanwhile, the Pretty and Pinks are working together, and it's working really well. They're pulling them well away from the pack. Sean's now third though, so can he get after them? And Leon holding on well in fourth, despite probably only seeing out of one eye and hearing out of one ear. It's like a drunken sailor out there right now. Through the chicane they come, and a mistake from Sean has allowed Leon straight past him, so he's obviously ran wide coming out of that horrible chicane. and that's allowed Leon through, and that's just going to help the pretty and pink cars get away even more. Nathan though really fast for this first corner, and looks like he's going to get a run on Ben again as the Vauxhall goes after the Audi. John holding on in 8th place. He's dropped quite a few positions, getting a nudge from Jeff. Flash of the lights from Ashley. Looks like he can get down the inside of Jeff as well. And Ashley continuing his fine form, aggressive driving really well tonight. And Nick's just about catching the pack now after his problems on the first lap. Adam down the inside of Nathan, and it looks like they've both got past Ben, so something's happened at St Mary's. I'm not sure what, but probably a mistake from Ben, and it's been pretty commonplace tonight. Nathan indeed up to 5th place, and Adam looks like he's got past both of them, I believe. Pretty sure he has. Flash through down the straight. Ashley in 8th. Andrew in 11th. He's the one that lost quite a lot of time on the first lap as well. As through the chicane they come again. Leon doing a great job up in 3rd still. You just feel like the pack will eventually catch him. Ash goes grass tracking. Leon doing a great job, like we said, holding on. 251, the number of his dad during his stock car days. Sometimes this championship does resemble that. But he'll be trying to get a podium. He's never scored a podium, but these first grids are like that. They're just designed to give everyone a good shot at trying to get a great result. Sometimes it works, and at the moment it's working for the pretty and pinks. And Lewis and that have had a pretty terrible day, but they can change that by winning this last race. And Coleman's doing a great job of shotgun. And meanwhile, Nathan's down the inside of Adam. He's got that move done. Adam's with a switchback. Can he get the grip? And he has. And he'll retake the position straight away. Ben lingering in 6th, just watching all this. And you can see the pink cars well away in the foreground, absolutely disappearing. And then into this last tricky section again of Woodcut, and then the chicane. It's got different names. I mean, some people just call it the chicane and others call it Paddock Bend. Paddock Bend's would be my choice. Chicane's a bit boring. Coleman though just started to drop back from his teammate now as Lewis maintains his pace, and Coleman loses the slipstream, so that will cost him time. But meanwhile everyone's still falling over each other for 3rd place, which Leon somehow incredibly still holds. Nathan down the inside of Adam with a great run through turn 1, and still hasn't managed to get that done though. It looked like he had the overspeed. Ben now just trying to hold off Sean. Sean's dropped back then, so he must have gone off at Sean O'Connor again. So it's now Coleman 2nd, Leon 3rd, Adam 4th. And Adam's trying to go around the outside, but surely he's left himself open to Nathan. Nathan swoops down the inside, and this time can Adam do exactly the same? He does again. He's pulled the same trick, and Nathan needs to try and stop the car in mid-corner. I would have thought, and try and slow Adam down, but Adam now, in fact, after defending, is now attacking and is trying to take 3rd place off Leon again, and he's done it. Adam continues his fine form up to 3rd place, a 1st and a 2nd already today. If we can get his act together, he might be able to go after the pink cars as well. There's still plenty of the race left, still got half the race to go. And Coleman's not had great pace today, especially not that of his teammate, but he's got dragged out of the group because of the pace of his teammate and just slipstreamed him. I mean, that's a fine effort by both of them. Ben wide again, sideways, and he's just not having a great day, and that's allowed Sean through. I think Sean's gaining another position there as well. We'll come back to that. And Nick not really making any impression on this race at the moment. But there is Coleman driving a fabulous race in 2nd. 3rd is Adam, and he's already broken away from that crazy bout, which shows you how much they are battling. Ben back down the inside of Sean, and great move through St Mary's, and's got it done. Sean sort of saw that coming, luckily. Because that could have been drama, but Leon's got Nathan all over him. Nathan should take a position. Leon's off on the grass, and that's going to cost him a few positions. So all of a sudden from 3rd he's down to 7th. But to be honest, it was a matter of time. These guys were going to come through, and now he'll race Ash. They're about the same speed, I would say, so that would be a good little battle. And there's Brian recovering. Remember, he had that off in the first lap. Brian looking for 11th place off Andrew, but he probably won't get around the outside. Although he's going to try it, and what a move from Brian. What a fantastic move, and well done to Andrew for giving them the space. But Brian there with a devastating move around the outside. And again, he's another one that's showing some good form in these latter races. Definitely getting his act together. If you remember some of the race, and Ben's up, Ben sideways, he's lost the car. Let's go to it, and he has. And a little tap from Leon seals the deal. He was going anyway, and off onto the grass, and now back on, and he hasn't lifted the throttle. That's how frustrated he is. He's just keeping the throttle pinned, and the car will eventually come back onto the track. But down to 9th place, and Ben's championship looks like, if it was very unlikely before, it is finished now. 9th place and 10th place for his teammate. So a bad day at the office for Ben, and that will completely ruin his chances. And it's just been one of those days. But the man that's driving fantastically is Lewis, with his teammate just out of the slipstream, or just out of sight, in 2nd place. These guys now just starting to find some speed and setting purple sectors. So have they done enough to secure a 1-2, something that has been done by a team this season? Because obviously we've got a good mix of like, I guess you could say, pro and am drivers. And yeah, it's Lewis there with his, I want to call Coleman an am, to be honest with you. He's a definite pro driver, but looks like they could maybe get that record of a 1-2 for the teams this season. We're not seeing it at all. The Vauxhalls have done the best job probably of being closest to each other in terms of pace. But Nathan, can never rule him out. He's 4th place at the moment, has just set fastest lap. And 5th place is Ashley. Somehow, after all that battling and craziness, he's 5th. 6th is, no, Sean's down to 7th now. So, and here's Ben battling for 8th with Leon. So these guys that were running at the front have dropped back to the midfield and now trying to work their way back into contention. But just not working out for Ben tonight, and this is just more of that. There's a battle there, and that's Nathan getting on the inside of Adam and taking the 3rd position. So Nathan now will try and go after those pink cars, but really time is against him. Although Coleman's not that far in front, and that's ruined Adam's chances as he runs onto the grass and wide. His teammate in 5th then, like we said, and 6th for Jeff. So Jeff's just starting to get some better speed together, better results, and Ben's run wide after passing Leon, and Leon should now retake the position, although he's on the outside, and Ben's giving him the room, and he's got it, although he's ran wide, and Ben's ran wide as well. They're both off, and these two are completely off the track, and I'm sure they're laughing about it. Yeah, Ben's shaking his car around to say, what were we doing? And yeah, I think they've both pretty much given up on this race by now. But Lewis looks like he's not giving up, and he's going to win this race. It looks like he's got it in the bag at the moment, unless any mistakes. Coleman though is 2nd. You can see Nathan now in the background. He's definitely closing in with some stunning lap times. Adam off again on the grass there, so he's just losing pace. Nate and Ashley in 5th with Sean behind him in 6th, and then Jeff in 7th now. So Sean passed Jeff and now trying to get past Ashley. He's got them inside line for this corner at Woodcote, and it looks like he's got it, and moves past Ashley nicely and makes it round Sean O'Connor. So he's doing fine now. Moves up into 5th. Jeff closing in for 6th. Ben, well, he's still on the racetrack, that's all we can say. He's 8th ahead of Leon. The tail end has come through, and there's John in 12th. So after a good start, it's all sort of petered out for him. Brian's up to 11th and Andrew's 10th. And again, still Nick's not really in contention. You can see him in the background. It's just not working out for him with a couple laps to go. Lewis has got this in the bag, but Coleman's now being really closed down by Nathan. I'm pretty sure Nathan's going to get there. He's got the time. He's got 2.5 laps to go. Adam looks settled for 4th. Sean looks like he's going to nail 5th. And then 6th is between these two, and looks like Ashley's wide. He is. He's kicking up the mud, and that has allowed Jeff through into 6th place, and demoted Ashley down to 7th. And Ben in 8th, but yeah, less said about that better. And now 9th as well. Just seen the ticket move, so he's made another mistake, and that's let Leon through. Here they go then. Start the penultimate lap, and Coleman's now under real pressure from Nathan. His lap times have dropped. Just can't maintain the same pace as he did at the start of the race, Coleman, and that's going to cost him, because as we know, Nathan's very quick at the end of the race, and look at that, in one corner he's caught him, and it should be just a matter of time now. If Coleman's a clever man, which I know he is, he should probably won't fight this too much, knowing that he's got a podium, because the others aren't close enough. Coleman, though, is well within his rights to fight with Nathan, but you just see he isn't able to carry as much corner speed. Nathan will try and switch around the outside, maybe switch to the inside. Nope. Thought about it, couldn't do it. Try the outside move that hasn't worked for him today, and then switch back again to get the inside line into the long straight at Levant, and then down into the Woodcote corner, and that should be a sealed deal. But yeah, Lewis is already heading towards the final chicane, so he's not going to catch Lewis. So a first and third looking likely for the pink cars. These two not close enough. Adam, though, battling with Sean again. Through the chicane to come. Great effort from Jeff in 6th, giving himself an early birthday present. 7th for Ash again, so he could get a hat-trick of 7ths, and I'm not sure he would have predicted that. Ben, by the way, has pitted for new tyres. That's how annoyed he is, and is in 10th place. So yeah, couldn't have gone much worse for him. But Lewis driving a fantastic race, led from the start, and he's going to win this race. Battle for 4th is pretty much the only one that's really raging, and Sean getting a good run around the outside, but Adam can easily cover that off, and he has, and just swoop around and hold the inside for the next corner at St Mary's. Sean tries to get around the outside, but that's not going to work. He'll have to figure out a way of diving down the inside into this next corner at Levant, and he's not going to do it. Switch back maybe, but no. Nope, Adam's covered it, and now down the Levant straight, but I think Adam's got a good drive. Flash the lights from Sean to say please let me have the position, but that doesn't work in this racing. But as these guys battle, as Lewis comes out of the final chicane and wins, and he'll be over the moon with that, as you can see, and then in fact crashes before the line, gets over the line backwards, never mind. Nathan 2nd, and to increase and pretty much secure his championship, but while there's a chance, you've got to keep racing. 3rd for Coleman, be pleased with that. 4th just for Adam. 5th for Sean. 6th for Jeff. 7th again for Ash. Great night for him, fantastic driving. 8th for Leon. Somehow, how does a man in a coma manage to finish in 8th place is a mystery to me. 9th for Andrew, and 10th for Ben. As they try to take their penalties, they have to take them, and Andrew's taking his, but it's not counting down. Now Ben seems to have gone up to 4 seconds, I don't know why. Adams is still there as well. I don't know what happened there. This penalty system's gone absolute tits there. 12th for Nick, 13th for John, and there are the positions confirmed like we've just mentioned. Great win for Lewis. 2nd for Nathan. 3rd for Coleman. 4th for Adam, and a fantastic night for him. A 1st, 2nd and a 4th means the championship now is pretty much done. Nathan with a huge lead, 46 points. Then Ben with a good gap back to Adam now, who's up to 3rd in the championship with that great night. 4th for Lewis, 5th for Liam despite not racing, 2 points ahead of Sean, who's 6th, and Jeff maintains 7th. Coleman closing in 8th. Teams championship as well looks like it's decided, with Nathan and Brian taking it ahead of Adam and Ashley. Adam and Ashley moving up to 2nd. Great night for them, really was. Ben and John in 3rd. They had the Laser Tools, Pretty and Pig, Team Chevy, Seat, and then the Rocket 4 team last at the moment. So that was Goodwood. Hope you enjoyed it. The last rounds at Brands Hatchet Indies will follow, and looks like Nathan will wrap up the championship.